Today we're at Rigatoni's right here in Derry, West Broadway, and with me right now is Lisa DeSisto.
Hi, yep, DeSisto.
Okay, DeSisto.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got involved with something like this.
Okay, well, as you said, my name is Lisa DeSisto. I've been a resident of Derry for 20 years, and I went to Johnson & Wales for hotel restaurant management. I worked for Bertucci's Brick Oven Pizza for 10 years, and then decided to start a family. And being a mother and working full-time is, quite challenging. So when my son started to get of toddler age, it was just too difficult to be a professional, career-orientated woman. So I decided one day, as I was driving down West Broadway, because I worked in Massachusetts, riding up and down Route 93, I said, I'm going to start a little place where I could just make sauce, gravy, and meatballs. And so that's what I did, and this building happened to be for sale. So I went home and told my family I'm going to open a little Italian takeout, and I'll be the only one that's cooking. And now I have 15 employees later, and it's been 9 years, and the rest is history. So what I did was I actually would bring my son to work with me, and, until he actually got to be a school age, and that's basically how it all started.
Well, you've done a great job here, and you've done a lot for the community as well.
Yeah, well, it's a great community to be involved with, so it's very easy to be so active into the community. The school systems are wonderful, the political organization. If you ever need anything, you just have to call town hall, and they try to do whatever they can for you to make your situation work. And there's all kinds of events, like with the rec department when they do their snowball and their trick-or-treat on Main Street and the holiday parade. So this community makes it very easy to be successful.
That's good to hear. Now, you mentioned that you worked at Bertucci's.
Yep.
How was that? What was that experience?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was a great company. It was a public company with a single owner, and he was phenomenal. His name was Joey Cognell, a very talented entrepreneur, and I actually loved my job. I started out as a restaurant manager, and then I worked my way up through until I became the field marketing manager. I did a lot of traveling around in the company and throughout the country, but then he sold the company to Chili's, and it became very much more corporate, and that really wasn't for me. I like more of the family atmosphere, and I think that's what I try to create for my company, because when a customer walks through the door, we treat them just like family. Right. We may yell at you, which it's common. We may ask you to pick up a broom and start sweeping, or run to Shaw's and buy us some cinnamon because we're making pies and we ran out. But that's what I like, It is what it is, and that's why when I was designing this kitchen, I did an open concept kitchen, as you can see. So it's almost as if you were coming into my home. Yeah. It is what it is. And, we try to do the best to do the very best that we can by serving the best food, with a little bit of personality.
Now, obviously, you've been into cooking since you were young. Was it a family thing?
Well, my mother was a fabulous cook. Okay. But I really didn't learn to cook with my mother because I come from a very traditional Italian household. So really we had to go in the other room while my mother did her thing. So I watched quite a bit, but I do cook a lot like my mother. Now I grew up next door to my grandmother, and my grandmother, they had all kinds of fruit trees and gardens and stuff like that. So I really cooked more so with my grandmother because she had the patience. My mother at that time was just too busy taking care of the household.
How many children?
There was only two, believe it or not. But, but back then the extended family was more important. Yeah. So I come from, aunts and uncles and cousins, and I was the only granddaughter. So I was, all the boys are out playing in the yard playing baseball. I was, in the kitchen with my grandmother, and I loved it. I mean, I wish she was still alive today. And it was funny because I'm actually from Massachusetts, and we moved up here to Derry. And then my grandmother, as she got older, moved up here, and she would sit in this dining room, and I would make the Italian cookies, which we call biscotti. And my grandmother would count just to make sure I wasn't giving away too many cookies, so.
What is your favorite thing to cook? Is it a dessert or a regular meal?
I actually, to be honest with you, I don't like cooking anything on the menu because that to me is so mundane.
Okay.
You know, people love the meatballs here, they love the chicken parm, they love the Italian cold cut. But, I mean, after 9 years, you only can make so many chicken cutlets. What I love to do the best is when somebody comes in who's a regular customer, I love making something special for them. Hey, Linda, give me that loaf of bread. Like, I'm gonna let you try this.
Okay,
So, like,
okay.
I go home, right? And at the end of the day, I tried something new, and then I'll bring it in and let the customers try it. Hey, look
Okay,
what I
sure.
made last night. So this was actually it's a sweet French bread,
Okay.
but I made this 2 nights ago. But it's actually wicked good. And then I eat it, and then and then I'll run it. Yeah, isn't it really good? And so that's really what I like to do is different crafty things. If somebody walks in and I'm making something different, then that's what I like. I like to try something new. Hey, what do you think about this? Do you like this? And then you kind of see if it sticks. You know, like we experimented one day with pizza dough, and now we make these flatbreads, and people love them. However, I've experimented with a lot of crap too that people don't like. So, you know, if you get one good thing out
That's
of
all
100,
part of it, though.
that's all part of it. And that's really what I like to cook the most. I love to bake, but I'm not that good at it because you have to have patience and you have to be specific, and I'm not. So that's why I tend to cook more, because you can definitely be more creative. You can throw a handful of this, a handful of that, and then you can say, okay, this is really good. Whereas the baking, like this bread didn't come out perfect because I threw molasses in it, but the recipe didn't call for molasses. So that's why it's a little bit different.
Tastes great.
Yeah, it does taste good, but again, I couldn't bake full time because I wouldn't be good at it. You know, and that's why I have somebody to do it. Could I cook full time? Yes, absolutely, because I can get away with, you know, the different types of flavors because I know what people are looking for. And come on down to 38 West Broadway. We're here 7 days a week, 10 o'clock in the morning to 8:30 every night.
Great. Now we're going to take a little bit of a tour. But first, I did notice that there's a Phantom Gourmet
Yes,
sticker out there.
absolutely. That was one of my best achievements. The Phantom Gourmet came in and chose us as a hidden jewel. And then they actually invited me back on the show as I was a guest speaker. And they filmed all of our food for an episode, and I got to sit on stage with the Andelman brothers, and it was just phenomenal. It was just such a great, to me it was an adventure, you know, to learn how they actually do the filming and the preparation of the show. And you always are in contact with the Phantom Gourmet. Like, they just did the hot dog safari, in which we were invited to participate in that. Yeah, so once you're in, then you're always in. Yeah.
So let's take a little bit of a tour and get an idea of what you have to offer.
All right, awesome. Okay, Larry, well, thank you for coming to Rigatoni's today. I believe this is a huge honor for us. Well, this is our deck, our outside dining from Rigatoni's. And although we don't have waitress service, it's very nice on a beautiful day like today to get your chicken parm spucky, your Italian spucky, and you can come out and sit on the deck. And then when you come in this way, this is our entrance way. And I like to have the customers filter in through this way, which is take and bake. So if you're in a rush, and as you know, Rigatoni's makes everything to order. And sometimes you may not have that 20 or 30 minutes to get your chicken parm, but you can come in here and get everything already prepared for you. We have things like chicken parm, lazy lasagna, chicken and artichokes, rigatoni broccoli and chicken, which is our #1 seller. And then, of course, we have our homemade gravy, which is why we call gravy different from sauce, because it's made from the extraction of a meat product. We put sausages, pork bones, and meatballs inside the sauce, which automatically makes it an Italian gravy. We have all kinds of soups that are all homemade and made from scratch, garlic bread, salads, and then this is our famous soda. We have root beer, raspberry, lime Ricky, orange soda, cream soda. Oh yeah, although we don't bottle it, they do have a label on there. Over here we have a little bit of a freezer section where you can buy rigatoni stuffed shells, cheese ravioli. I usually put my pot pies in there, but haven't had an opportunity to make the pot pies, but we also have shepherd's pies here. And here is our ordering counter, which most of the action actually happens. I tend to stand on this side, We have Linda Wave over here. Linda does the phones, the sandwich making, and then we have Tammy back there